Hello and welcome to another episode of the Opus Wealth Style podcast. My name is Iván Watanabe here with my trusty partner, Evan Wohl. Evan, what's going on, man? Good afternoon.
Here we are, back at it again.
I know, and thankfully it is sunny and shining outside today. I feel like we are finally coming back to life.
My first round of golf booked in 2 days, so
let's
getting
go.
out there.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, awesome. Well, we are. I'm personally very excited about today's episode. Today we have on Dr. Talha Kaner on with us, physician and famed watch dealer specifically in the medical marketplace. This guy is just absolutely killing it out there. So I'm very excited to have you on today, Talha, to just come tell us a little bit more about you, educate the audience on your trajectory to get into entrepreneurship and sort of the watch industry, and just kind of tell us about all the things. How do we get those ultra rare Rolexes without having to wait 10 years? So
I appreciate your invite. I've been to a couple places, but I want to keep myself low key because there are consequences. But yeah, I'm from Turkey. Came United States right after medical school when I was 24. Spent 2 years in Philly. At that time, I was looking at watch magazines, going into the stores, obviously like $6,000, $7,000 watches. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. You don't make anything. But I remember telling my dad, because he was giving me some money every 6 months I was going to Turkey. I said, can I buy this watch and then use this money in United States? And he's like, well, I'll give you $6,000, but I'm not paying you anything else. It's on you. I remember myself getting the watch from Turkey. That's 2018, 2019, where the market started to go up and where things became scarcity. And I remember bringing it in, selling it to a dealer who is my friend right now, actually a colleague in the watch world. I made like $1,500, but that was a big money for me at that time.
Sure.
And then I did physical medicine and rehabilitation residency in New York City. And then I have spinal cord injury medicine fellowship in Houston. And I've been working in Nebraska for the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's super interesting because, most physicians in particular, like rarely do I see them doing anything outside of day-to-day job medicine, including my wife, right? Occupation wise. And so I'm always curious to find out more about somebody that has either a real estate side business or they've invested in some other type of related field, but never in the history of ever have I seen a physician having a side hustle, a successful side hustle. I'll call it in a space like watches. So it was curious for me, and wanted to have you on and talk a little bit more about how you got into it and why you continue to do it, and how it fits into your world as a physician.
Yeah, well, if you have a minute, let me tell you how I was always been. So when I was like 17, 18, I was always asking myself what should I do to create something? I still remember up to this date, trying to find product, trying to do something. It's not about money. It was never about money because I'm coming from a physician family. Like my dad's a neurosurgeon. I never needed extra money. I am the first guy bring to Turkey back in 2014, Lord of the Rings, original handmade, models that people can wear. I think I was making like $500 a week, which was huge money back then. Like you should understand from a standpoint of a high schooler. And back in 2008, I don't even remember when. And then I play violin for 15 years. I said, okay, I play games. I like movies. How can I monetize this? And I started doing ringtones for like 15, 20 seconds. Then I started selling 1,000 ringtones in 2 weeks for 2 years before the ringtone industry died. So, and then I found myself medical school. It ended. It was so hard, studying medicine boards. And I came to United States. I needed to focus on my thing to get into the residency path, and because that's the primary road. But I always finding myself, I gotta do something. Like I can't just sit and do nothing. I go crazy. and I enjoy selling. Now I'm pretty sure that I love selling. During residency, when I was PGY2, so postgraduate year two, when you're like, grinding in New York City, working 80 hours a week, getting paid like, a pretty low wage. I created my uncle is in the textile industry back in country in Turkey. So he recommended me to start a line for babies, newborns, some Turkish cotton and all that. I invested 15 grand, survived a year, probably broke even. I failed because now then I understood that you need to control the production line, because if something sells, you need 10,000 units next day. If you can't have that, doesn't mean what you sell, you're done.
Sure.
And then a couple more things. But then 2.5 years ago, I was discussing with my best friend. He's my partner now. I told him like, dude, I gotta do something, but like legit, like. And he told me, dude, everybody calls you for watches. You read watches, magazines, shows. You know everything in and out, and you're a doctor. Go start selling this. And I'm like, what? Like, can I do it? Because what if I get a fake? Then I'm done. Because you can make $20,000 in 2 months, and if one fake Rolex or AP Patek, well, you're done. How am I going to ship it? How am I going to reach people? Who's going to wire me over the phone? But then he said, we made a road plan, and he said, just, slowly. And here I am, man. Like, this year is, I think, the third year of my company. Last year, I closed $5 million sales.
Wow.
And this year, it's already, I want to say 1.5. First quarter isn't end yet. So yeah, it's going great.
That's amazing.
You mentioned earlier you kind of half said it that you don't want too much notoriety. Is that because of the scarcity in the watch market?
First of all, security. A lot of known dealers. Not a known dealer, but your family, your wife, your inventory. You go to the bank, you come back, and also I still collect. I have my personal collection, and I would like to get good pieces from my dealers, that official dealers, like brands themselves. Like, they would probably stop selling me if they know I'm a watch dealer. Although I don't sell what I buy if I'm gonna buy personally. But yeah, at this stage of my life, I think I'm just gonna go all out, because my business means way more than getting a couple pieces once a year from boutiques.
Sure. And so, like, what's the day to day look like right now? I mean, are you still in the we've texted back and forth. I mean, regardless, it's very similar to us. It's like, regardless of the time, I'm getting a response back. So what does it look like, day to day? What's the primary, the current medicine job look like? And then how are you fitting in the watch business and in the in-between?
Dude, it's hard. It's really hard.
No.
When you wake up, you have 2 kids, 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So I check quickly where the packages are for the day. Gotta pay the wires for the day, because people don't like who's paying late. Because 9 a.m. Eastern wire, federal wire, opens, and you gotta move the funds. Like your producer, when she called me 22 minutes early. I was packing 2 Pateks and trying to check them, because I need to pay the someone like you traded in pieces, and I need to ship one watch today. So I have my lunch hour, 11:30 till 1, that I use 100% allocated to my watch business. After work, but in the beginning though, it was different. Now it's almost many months, couple years. It's different now. In the beginning, it was hard. I worked a lot, like kids sleeping from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. I was on internet, because if you become a watch dealer, first of all, nobody knows you. People need to know you, and I'm not talking about someone like you to buy me a watch. I'm talking about in the industry. Like, who am I? Who's gonna believe me? Like, today, I got a package of $110,000. I did not even pay yet, because it's upon receipt and basically authentication. Like, in order to build that trust to someone I don't even know, but I do business every week, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's what you need to build. And for the first year and a half, I was doing that. always chasing, hustling, talking to people, FaceTiming, telling what I am, what I do. I mean, I try not to touch my phone during my clinic hours. Um, but if I'm sitting, I don't use Instagram, I don't use Twitter, I don't use TikTok. I have my time. I put everything to airplane mode right now because I'm pretty sure I probably got 2 texts in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's interesting. It's interesting because most people that have, again, a side hustle that turns into a real business, right? Most people are absolutely hate their 9 to 5 job. They're doing it as a means to an ends, and then they have this other side hustle that they're working on, but they need their day job in order for them to pay their bills. And then once that side hustle job gets large enough, they sort of leave, right? But for you, but those people didn't invest all that time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears to go through the training to become a physician, right? To earn, a significant wage from a 9 to 5, or, from a day job, and then to have this other side gig. So are both of these passions of yours that you want to continue to sort of operate, or do you think at some point you'll scale back on one versus another? Is it, what? And obviously, the watch business, you are that business, right? The reputation that you've created, the business is only as good as those relationships, right? So how do you kind of balance between those things?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. First of all, being a physician is different than just doing a 9 to 5 under a boss. So I'm actually going to pain management field in 3 months. That's another hectic 12 months for what it's gonna be. And then I just want to work like Monday, Thursday, only outpatient during procedures like epidural injections, facet blocks, spinal cord stimulators, seeing patients. Because when you have an inpatient hand, which means you have patients in the hospital that are being admitted and you are the responsible doctor, that's a different responsibility than just doing outpatient. Now, outpatient is, you see 1 to 4, 6, 8, 10 patients, 4:30, you're out. There's no nurse to call you. There is no medication to be asked or any acute medical event. Let's say a patient develops a stroke or something, they're going to call you. But that's why I'm changing the field to more interventional, more procedures and like in and out type of thing. And my partner is now more involved. We're going to carry the headquarters under his office and hire the photographer. And we're educating one person to do the listings and shipping.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I was thinking about this a ton as my wife, a picture of my wife popped up that I took of her on match day holding her match day letter, right? And for those who don't know, match day is the most bizarre experience anybody ever goes through, and to watch it as a bystander is like wild, right? But basically your entire fate of your medical career is sort of like scheduled in this one room with all of your med school classmates, and they tell you on the spot in front of everybody whether or not you got into your first, second, or 15th choice, right? And you're off. You got no options. And so I was kind of thinking about this and looking back at that, and just hearing you create your medical professional experience in life around all of the other passions is a unique concept, because most physicians get into their space and then they sort of like just follow along. They don't, I find physicians in particular, like they're very almost grateful for the role that they have or the job that they have. And they don't think beyond that. They don't think of, well, I'm going to look at a different hospital because they're probably going to compensate me differently. This practice over here, maybe this particular specialty isn't for me or doesn't serve me all that well, but I'm going to go change specialties to do something different. That rarely happens, right? And I say that because I have clients that are, finishing training to 75-year-old, physicians that don't want to leave the hospital, right? I mean, the entire gamut. So I've seen it all, and I rarely see anybody, again, making the medical system in their profession kind of work for them. So I really applaud you for that, because I think it's unique and something that I've been trying to talk about a lot recently is kind of giving physicians their power back as it relates to their career.
I mean, financial freedom, right? Everybody's talking about it. Even if you're a doctor, your salary might be higher than average. But are you financially free? Your house, your cars, the lifestyle, your kids, and everything. Like, for me, if I want to drive a car, especially in the United States, which cars are relatively achievable compared to Canada, Europe, like if I'm really checking my bank account, that I don't have financial freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Watch business provided me that. Like my wife is and also for the sake of talking some business, like you have an LLC now. You are no more W-2, 100%. So like it's an eye opener. It's a true eye opener for someone living in the soil that they're leaving so much money on the table because government takes their cut. You get whatever you have remaining. But right now, my wife is she's a 3D animator and visual effects person. She's in the board of advisors, does my things. My kids are minors and they're modeling agreement with my company. They have their appeal. We go to the park, we take pictures, we post on Instagram. So now we're going to a business trip in Orlando in a month. Like, of course, I'm going to make them fly private. I mean, not private, not there yet, but first. Like, because it's business. Our family is in business. This room right now is a part of my business.
Yep.
So I love it. I mean, I think this is a dream come true. If you love something and if you can achieve to turn it into a business, there's nothing else you need to achieve in this life. I think, turning passion into a business is a cliche word, but I think it just happened for me without really knowing before.
And it's interesting because I think that the passion piece of it on the sort of company that you've created alongside your medical profession, and again, sort of having an LLC and creating more 1099 income. A lot of physicians want to accomplish the same thing, and the only thing that they can think about is real estate. But real estate is a completely separate entity and absolutely manageable, but you have to have some level of knowledge in the space, right? Or take the time to understand it or outsource that, and it doesn't come without its significant costs, significant, ongoing, headaches, and there's no free lunch. And so I think you creating this business along a passion of yours and having it explode is like the best of both worlds, because not only are you earning a significant amount of income, you are able to sort of create financial freedom and make your physician life more, malleable, but also, it all makes sense, right? Versus again, a lot of these other physicians trying to do this as, I'm just going to buy a piece of real estate and have somebody manage it and try to get some kind of tax benefit. It doesn't work that way.
Well, it doesn't work like that, right? You got to be a real estate professional, 400 hours, 40 hours, whatever. Either you make your wife a real estate agent. It does not work like that. Like you can't just cut off an actual depreciation from your W-2 if you don't fit under that criteria. Because I've worked a book of codes and everything for the IRA. So that doesn't work like that. And before the watch business, I purchased a rental property, put it into the property management. Bro, it's boring. Like what? You buy for $300K, drop some, interests are so high. Sure, $200 positive equity. That doesn't mean anything. You're paying 10 times more to banks. And what if it doesn't go up? My property didn't really succeed that much. I'm selling it right now because like waiting 5%, 7% in 12 months for a return, just put your money in a bank and forget it. I don't think it's a business. It's just an investment, and you can buy as much as you can, but you need time. You need 30 years to reach that level, and your kids can benefit. You're not going to benefit that real estate. I might be naive and not knowledgeable about exactly what I'm talking about, but in reality, real estate, you need time to work for you. You can't just reach to the goal in a year. At least
I totally agree. It's so common. Everyone thinks that real estate to some degree is a free lunch, where if you don't have the expertise, there's a lot of nuances that need to go along with it. I think your watch business, like, it probably seems so obvious in retrospect of why you're so successful, but it's because that you were interested in it beforehand, because you were reading all about the watch magazine. It's like what you did on your free time, turn that into your side hustle so that it doesn't feel like work, right? Putting in all that extra effort just feels like fun.
Absolutely. Like I help people too. Like, when someone reaches out to me, like your wife, Ivan, I always assume that, okay, they don't have any knowledge about this, first of all, this industry is full of sharks.
Yeah.
Like full of sharks. Go to New York 47th Street.
Sharks and crooks.
You'll see one.
Yeah.
Yes. So like you things that you cannot even know. A link was missing because like I know a guy who steals one link every watch that he sells, and at the end of the month he has like 35 links. He sells $60 a piece, and he makes his mortgage. Like I know people do that. You know, the watch comes with a lot of parts, right? The bracelet, the dial, the case. You will never know if it's polished or if it's swapped or like. So my goal as a doctor, like I'm not going to jeopardize my license to lying someone or scamming someone. And that's why people tend to believe me. And then once they have the product at the price that they can just search and see that, oh, this is actually a good price, then I get 2 more referrals from the same person. That's another thing I wanted to tell you guys. Like this industry is not easy. You just got to focus on what you want to do and start building the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's interesting because I think this idea of your passion and creating it into a business, especially for those physicians or other people out there that are sort of trying to create another entity, maybe it's for tax benefits or maybe it is for additional income. You know, my advice, I very, very much subscribe to Gary Vaynerchuk's theory on this, which is you sort of find your passion, something that you are very, very excited about, that you are happy to work on from 9 to 1 o'clock in the morning, because it is something that makes you excited. And there's so many platforms today that you're able to sell something or create, you know, whether it's Substack or What's Not, or you know, there's a million different ways for you to kind of monetize the scenario if you're able to find what it is that you're, you know, excited about, right? So for you, you know, we're in the watch space, and listen, like I think it would be helpful for the audience, and I'm smiling because I've kind of taken my lumps as I've learned a little bit about the watch space. I'd love for you to kind of share, just give us a like 20-second overview of what the current retail market looks like, and then what the secondary market looks like right now, and why people would want to use a watch dealer rather than go to the Rolex store or the Rolex retailer and try to, you know, get a watch.
Absolutely.
And I use Rolex because that's what's on the top of my head. But
yeah. I'm going to talk about that.
And we had a watch person, I don't know if it was considered a dealer on our podcast about a year or two ago. It's actually one of the top podcasts listened to in our history. So I guess we have a big watch audience. Yeah. But I left that conversation. My main takeaway was, oh my goodness, it would be awful if there was a line of clients all around the block just dying to have what I offer, but I can't give it to them. Yeah, I was like, that sounds rough.
There are very few circumstances where like you can pay for something and be willing to pay for it, and then just not be able to walk out of the store with it in hand. Like it's super interesting.
So first of all, Watch World does not consist, or it's not about Rolex. Rolex is just, everybody knows it, and everybody needs to go through that phase to branch out. Like Cartier, you know, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe. And these are the top, the Vacheron Constantin, like these are the top trio that everybody knows. And then there's like Breguet, Panerai, Longines, Tag Heuer, like Jojo Lecoultre. Like there's tons of brands out there. I tell people, like, do you want a Rolex, or do you want to buy something with your budget that I think I can recommend a couple different brands? If it's a Rolex person, sure. You got to go to I had 10 Rolexes before, now I have none. Like, you got to go through that phase. This is the marketplace. This is the retail MSRP. Unlikely that you're going to get this from the store, because the Rolex, the company, uses this supply-demand chain and controlling it very nicely, created this whole hype. And now an $11,000 Datejust, a stainless steel watch, selling for $18,500 if you buy from me. Am I making $7,500? No, I'm not. If I'm making $750, I'm lucky. You know, it's whoever gets it in the beginning, they make the biggest chunk of money by flipping it, and then it probably changes 5 to 10 more hands until you have it. It means dealer to dealer, wholesale. And I tell people, like, is this an $18,500 watch? It's not. You please confirm like, you're buying a stainless steel watch for this. And you're like, yeah, man, I'm dreaming. This is my dream and all that. All right, perfect. Let's go. And they love it. I bought at least 2 aftermarket watches before I became a dealer because I was obsessed with that green Submariner. Like, it's called Starbucks. Like, I bought for 16.5, was selling for 10.8, I think. I used it. After 8 months later, I sold it for like 14.8 or 15. I was a retail person. I sold it to a dealer, and he was my friend. And then he probably sold it again for 16. So that's the Rolex. But besides Rolex and some of the Audemars Piguet, it's very hard to get, like, at least Royal Oak. You've heard of it, like a couple different models. The rest you should buy either from someone like me or pre-own, trusted platforms. Why are you gonna pay the full amount for the exact same material, as long as it's not a gift for your daughter or something? You know what I mean? Because all the brands, like, I have a network of almost all the brands that I can get you under retail, brand new from the boutique. As opposed to, if you go there, you gotta pay the full price plus tax plus maybe a champagne, a smile. But I would get you the same watch, and that's what I do most of the time. I don't really flip Rolex because the margins are extremely slim, and there's so much complications might come with that. But like, I sell a lot of Cartiers, Panerai. I invest my own money with brand new Patek Philippe's that are selling, let's say it's a $44,000 model, but on the gray market, like secondary market, it's a $30,000 watch. So my goal is to buy it cheaper than 30, so I can sell it to 30.
Why is it cheaper on the secondary market?
Because so it's the whole authorized dealer game. You need to buy couple watches that will depreciate instantly once you leave the store in order to get the sought after piece later. So people buy these pieces and they find people like me and just dump it, cash out, eat the loss, hope that they'll call them for the piece that they actually need to pay $50,000 more to get it, but they're hoping that they'll get it from the retail.
So if I understand this correctly, I want a Royal Oak. So
perfect.
So if I want a Royal Oak, I go to this dealer, the authorized dealer. Theoretically, I will buy 3 to 4 watches at a loss.
At least so. For AP,
potentially,
you got to lose at least $20,000 to be potentially offered the Royal Oak.
To have the right, potentially right to go buy something, and I'm going to pay, if I want that Royal Oak, I'm going to pay a premium at the authorized dealer, or I'm going to pay the retail price for that watch.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If you have just the money that you're going to keep using for the watches, you're not going to play the AP game, because the moment you sell the AP watch, if that watch goes to any service, any location, anywhere in the world, your account will be blocked for life.
Got it. So you're buying that and you're keeping that thing for got
2 years maybe, until the grail piece you want. Like, I do safe sales. Like, people, like, let's say you buy a piece, right? And then you say, bro, I'm okay to lose the money, but I'm gonna make sure that this watch will not be registered under anybody. And I said, okay, it's called safe sale. We're gonna keep the card. We're gonna give them a timeline for 2 years. Like, I have a couple of clients in Hong Kong right now waiting their time to come to register their watches. I have their cards in the safe because my US clients bought it and I sold them to Hong Kong and they did not register it. And my client is keep getting the allocations because it's in his office. Actually, it's very funny. One time this happened. The AD called this guy to a party and said that, can you please bring that watch? They're challenging him. We paid $500 overnight FedEx from Singapore to bring the watch here. He wore it. I sent it back. Like, wow. This world is crazy. You have no idea.
So what you're saying is, so in the scenario that I brought up, I buy 3 to 4 APs. At a loss. I have to hold on to this watch theoretically, unless I want to do a safe sale. But I have to hold them for a period of several years before I can offload them for the potential right to go buy the watch that I actually want.
Yep. Today I got 2 watches. I was unpacking them before, once you guys called me. They are both 2025 brand new Pateks. They always ask me, if it's brand new, why is 2025? Yeah, because someone kept it in their safe until the day they got something else so they can sell this. If they get caught up, they'll be like, well, I didn't like it. I used it for a year. No, it's brand new, man. There's not even a single hairline on that watch. So now that watch sells right now for $44,000 on the website and the boutique. If you pay me $30,700, I can sell it to you. It's brand new. So that's why people need to know someone like me. Otherwise, they're gonna pay online. You can still buy this online, but online it's gonna be $35K because there are platform fees, negotiation, there's tax burden, like there's a lot of fees.
Sure.
So that's when I get a lot of texts. Like, because another thing about watch business, once you sell one watch, it's not about a house. There's no 30-year or 10-year later. That client will come next day. I sold one piece 3 weeks ago to a lawyer, very, very good law firm. Today I sent another watch to his law partner. And they're saying that our wives are getting, angry. I think they want something too.
Yeah.
So it's the business I am in, luxury business. I don't care. It doesn't follow S&P 500, unfortunately. If you want to buy a watch, which is $35,000 just to put it on your wrist and go to car wash, like, it really doesn't matter if the gas is going $100 a barrel or 85, because that guy's already driving a V8. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's funny because there's a whole sub industry getting created around like wearables, and they're trying to, because there's watch wearers like me. The reason why I like the Whoop is not because of like the data is decent, but the reason why I don't have like an Apple Watch or something like more, because I don't want to wear two watches at the same time. So they started to create these little wearables that go underneath like a classic Rolex or AP or like luxury watch that goes underneath it that can kind of track it, because they realize that people will wear them. Now it doesn't actually work, because you wouldn't wear your Rolex during a workout, or like I don't know who would do that. Maybe somebody would, but really interesting kind of the dynamic of how important that classic or a beautiful timepiece is for a lot of people, for whatever reason. So, I understand the desire around it, because I've sort of started to dabble in that as well. But the demand and the game behind it is something to be understood.
Yeah.
So that's why
they always say that once the watch prices go down, these dealers like me, they're going to die. They're going to leave. Now we can do like direct business. No, the Submariner you'll be buying 11,000 today. I'm going to buy it for 85 and I'm going to sell it for 9. Like, I will exist. It doesn't matter the watch prices are high or low. There's always going to be a pre-owned market. And some people prefer to buy used because they want that appreciation gone. And like literally the Patek I sold today to the lawyer, he's not going to lose any money on it. Like, literally, because it's a good price. Inflation every year, brands increase 3 to 5% their MSRPs, sometimes more. In 2 years, he might make money off it. Sure, it's not an investment, but it's what I call it's a wealth transfer. You, instead of seeing the numbers in the bank, you see a little bit on the wrist, a little bit on the shoe, a little bit on the car. Like, that's the smart buy.
Yeah. Are there any watches in particular or brands in particular that you're kind of bullish on going forward, that you feel like, hey, these are pretty good, we'll call them investments, or things that are sort of like at the top of your mind where you're like, hey, if I had some cash, I would sort of be looking here?
So have you ever heard the brand called A Lange Sonne? It's a German brand. So it's a German brand. It's extremely high finish. To me, it's better than Patek. So before, pre-owned ones are selling way cheaper. In the last 6 months, every time I need to buy a new one, the prices are going up like 1%, 2%. I think Lange has a good future in the pre-owned market. As if you can buy one right now at a good price. I think Vacheron is getting there slowly, because usually it's a brand that loses depreciation hits right away. Right now, a lot of people are trying to investigate. I think people are a little bored of Rolex leading the market and trying to branch out to independent brands and something unique. Because if I'll be honest with you, I had a Submariner, perfect watch, my dream. After I went to a medical conference, I've seen 80% of people wearing the same watch. I swear I sold it next day, because I just lost the appeal. I'm like, then it's just a material that everybody wants to buy. Now you got to find something that you actually find and you have a story behind it. You know why this piece. That's me, but I think eventually people will realize. But the social media, man, is driving entire brand and the hype pieces so badly, so people can't even create their own decisions. They just see it 100 times a day, and they're like, I gotta buy this Daytona for $35,000 because it's the best. It's just a $16,000 stainless steel watch.
Got it.
Sure, it's still a lot of money, guys. Like some people will be like,
sure. No, we get it. We get it.
But it is.
As we kind of wrap up the conversation, Talha, anything in particular you want to make sure that the kind of listening audience takes away from the conversation? I've learned a bunch already, so I'm sure other folks have too. But anything in particular you want to make sure that everybody leaves?
Yeah, I would recommend, like, if you want to buy a watch, go see it, and of course you have full right to buy brand new from the boutique. That's an experience. That's a moment you need to live and enjoy. But if you're a collector and if you have more than 3 watches, try to find someone like me. Ask your friends, you don't need to find on Instagram, friends who buys and sells, like trying to narrow down one guy. Because in this industry, we say, don't buy the watch, like buy the dealer. Like you need a person to trust, and then you don't need a second one. Sure, sometimes I say, I can't find this watch, it's very hard, but my friend has, you can find. Like, you don't need to be just specifically one person, but I think if you're a watch person, you need to know someone like me, because I get texts like, hey man, they offered me this watch from this brand. Should I buy it? Or I'm going to buy these 2. They're going to give me this. How much can you give me this? Like, I function many ways, and a lot of people like me function that way. So you can go to a store by knowing that you're going to spend $40,000, but the $32,000 will come tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, find a person that you can trust, but not like, Instagram famous people, because trust me, the views and the likes does not correlate the genuine actions most of the time. Just find someone that someone recommend and ask them, and go research, and feel like if that's at a nice price, give it a try. And you always need to know that after sale, this guy will pick up your phone and make sure that he's there. That's what I provide people. This is my business card. This is the hospital I work with. Come find me if I'm not going anywhere,
Yeah, for sure.
That's really important.
And I'll tell you, you are the go-to for this apparent United States-wide Dr. Mom group. Man, you are just absolutely killing it there. I've been told about you a couple of times. So, but listen, where can the listening audience find out you if they are interested in kind of learning more about your services, the watches you provide? Where can they find you?
I'm really active on Instagram. Aslan Watches, like ASLAN watches. And then once they know me, I give my cell phone. My partner is in there, and we have a website, aslanwatches.com. And we sell at almost all platforms, from Reddit to Chrono24, like from every aspect of the business. And yeah, I'm happy to help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
building such an incredible business.
No, thank
really
you guys.
Amazing.
This is perfect. I hope people get inspired and do their own thing.
Yeah. Again, for me, I've taken away information on the watch business, right? Some more education there. But also just, how important it is to sort of pursue those passions as a secondary business to try to create the life the way that you want, right? Like that financial freedom for you was created by this whole entire watch business in a world where you're earning significant income through being a physician as well, right? So those things are not mutually exclusive. So hopefully that's a big takeaway for you, the listening audience. So again, we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you to the listening audience for tuning in. Make sure you click subscribe below to be notified when we release our next episode.